Welcome to the Combative Nerds Podcast. Join us while we break balls and try to outwit each other at every turn while debating all things nerdom and trying to make sense of this world. Look, I'm not gonna lie, this is a Herculean task and I'm not sure we have enough brain power to do so. At the very least, we can laugh and offend each other through the process. Thanks for sharing your day with us. Now on to our show. All right, guys. Through the magic of GarageBand, we have now edited to the B-side. B-side, we're going to talk about Kenobi, episodes 1 through 3. This is where we get into the nerd lore and the area of expertise of Fighter Wizard. I should tell you, Fighter Wizard has a copious collection of Star Wars memorabilia.
That's true.
That is easily fills a child's bedroom. Fanciful Lego retro 1980 figures is quite impressive. Maybe we'll put some pictures up on it. So he is a nerd of nerds. Even has a Sith tattoo, if I'm correct.
I do have 2 Sith tattoos.
2? Where's the other one?
They're in the same place. I had the little one first, the symbol of Nagasado, and then I got Anakin's tattoo over it. So it looks like one tattoo.
Oh, I didn't realize that. Okay.
It's pretty subtle.
He is very capable on this subject. I also grew up watching Star Wars. My biggest claim to fame is I had an AT-AT that my mother made me give away.
I'm sorry.
Bitch.
Ooh.
Dude, $30. $30 garage sale. She made me sell my AT-AT, my Slave One, my Darth Vader TIE Fighter, my Jabba the Hutt playset. Do I need to say more?
My Millennium Falcon was free.
What do you mean?
That means my mom just got rid of it one day because she didn't think I played with it anymore, which to be fair, I didn't.
Oh.
You know what? Since the 1950s or earlier when young boys started collecting things, mothers and or parents in general have always been there to dispose of their no longer played with things. How many toys? Okay.
True.
Let me take that back.
True.
Okay. Yeah.
True.
There are 50 things that my daughter has never played with past the age of 2 and never will. But the instant she sees it in a closet, like, I love this thing. She's like, it's a speaking spell.
True. Yeah. I was 14. 14 when she made me get rid of them.
Nah, that hurts. Because at that point, it's solidified and you wanted it.
Yeah. And she had no problem with all my Transformers that were in boxes and neatly put away. But it was the AT-AT for some reason. Still operational. Wow. Still operational, the guns. Yeah. The things. Yeah.
I'm impressed if it made it through your childhood operational. That's, wow, good job.
14. Okay. I might be lying. I think I might have been 12. So 14, we had moved.
12.
By then
12 is still in prime age to get rid of your stuff.
I still won't let her live it down. That's fine. But after my ranting and raving, she kept all my Transformers in the attic. So I guess I can't be too hard on her.
I love that your Freudian slip for attic was AT-AT.
Yeah, seriously.
It's still
okay.
Deep,
So,
ladies and gentlemen,
our resident scholar will discuss episodes 1 through 3, and I will do my best to give my impressions and my remarks.
Okay, yes. So I should say that my bona fides in terms of Star Wars fandom are not the tattoos necessarily, although I have had 2 other Star Wars fans recognize what my tattoos were.
Nice.
And that is an instant friendship right there. Are yours from this action? Why, yes, as a matter of fact, they are. Come on over. Let's have some tea. But my 2 favorite things in my collection, actually 3, are the 1984 copy of Empire Strikes Back on VHS that was given to me by my parents in like 1986 or 7 for Christmas. The movie ticket I have to the Star Wars Special Edition, I think it was released in 1997. That was the first time I ever saw Star Wars in the theater. And a picture that my 5-year-old daughter drew for me of us fighting with lightsabers. That's cheesy, awesome. But still awesome. And when the wildfires were happening in Oceanside, actually all over California a few years ago when I lived there, I went into the Star Wars room to grab a few things. Those are the only 3 things I grabbed. The plastic can melt as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
I just wanted those things. My spouse vehemently disagreed with that and started asking, like, which ones are the valuable ones? I'm like,
valuable to me.
Yeah. I specifically will not tell which ones are valuable and which ones are not, because I don't want to have that conversation. And of course, like if you see someone collect something like, oh, is one more expensive than the other? Like, well, yeah, some are, some aren't, but that's not important. Anyway.
I mean, it's important for the estate sale when it finally happens if your kid won't take it. But
yeah.
Now, I also have to strongly disagree with your top 3 collection.
Already?
Yeah.
Okay, well, what would you do?
Okay, now, the picture of the happiest I've ever seen you.
Oh, yeah, me with Mark Hamill and Carrie Fisher. That's pretty good, too.
The greatest picture I've ever seen in my life.
It's probably the best picture of me ever.
Tell me you have it framed and oil painted from Costco.
I do not have it oil painted. It is framed and in the center of the wall.
Okay, good. We're good.
We set up. When we moved, I set up the room differently, and I put like a lot more thought into it this time. I thought I put more. I tried to make it as aesthetically pleasing as possible. So one room or one wall is all of the movie posters in order, and I ran out of room from 4 and 4, and then I put episode 9 on the door. So when you close it, it's chronological. And then one wall, actually all around, are chronological. I have low tables with the larger ships because they're a bitch to put on shelves. They're surprisingly heavy at the end of the day. And then on the far wall, eastern wall, I have 2 large, like kind of odd looking shelves that I got from, I don't know, IKEA or Amazon or something like that. And they were cheap, but they looked cool. That house a lot of figures, Legos, books, etc. But I set them up with, you know, like all the Mustafar battle between Anakin and Obi-Wan stuff is there. So like the 80 Class 2 interceptor parked outside, R2-D2, etc. And then in the center is, and you've seen it before, that like large glass cabinet that I stole and repainted with all of the action figures in chronological and theme.
Right.
And then in the center of all of that is the picture of me with Mark Hamill and Carrie Fisher.
That's, if you don't have incense burning for Carrie Fisher once a week, it's sacrilege.
And you know, I got that when she died like 6 months after that.
Yeah, I remember. Well, I mean,
yeah, she had the dirtiest feet.
Yep, that's the only problem with the picture. She was clearly high, but her feet kind of ruined Return of the Jedi for me. I'm not gonna lie.
Her feet are very dirty in that picture.
Well,
I don't know if she has dirty feet regularly. It'd been a long day. She'd met a lot of fans. I was number 1008, I'm sure, in that line.
Jesus.
But, you know, I don't care. I paid $200 for the picture. I do not care.
What?
Worth it.
Oh, totally worth it. No. I'm thinking about the numbers. If they had 1,000 people taking those pictures.
Excellent job. Yeah, no. It's a lucrative thing. It must be. I have no idea what their cut is. And they have those at a lot of different conventions. Celebration, of course, is the big one, and that was even bigger. They really tried to pump it there because it was coincident with the year of release for, I think, Force Awakens.
That's amazing. Good for them.
Yeah,
I always wondered what kind of residuals they got. Residuals they got, and I know, you know, you have NBA stars and WWE stars going and always doing the autograph signings. I always wondered. Good for them, man.
Yeah, it's fairly lucrative. So, like, even the Ray Park is a pretty big draw for Darth Maul, and he's really good. So Mark Hamill's really, really nice. From what I understand, if he did this with me, I can only assume that he did this with everybody else. He was very warm, very kind, shook my hand, made me have that personal, 15-second human connection so that I'm walking away and having this conversation as opposed to like, that guy was a fucking asshole.
Yeah.
Ray Park will lightsaber fight with fans and teach them like some basic choreography sometimes. You can find it on YouTube.
Good, dude.
I don't know about the others. Ian McDiarmid will often...
CP3O?
And that's Anthony Daniels. Ian McDiarmid is Palpatine.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
he's available sometimes. They had Ian McDiarmid and Hayden Christensen at one of them, and I absolutely would have, because I like Hayden Christensen for multiple reasons.
I don't know who that is.
Darth Vader. Or, sorry, Anakin Skywalker / Darth Vader.
Oh, okay.
David Prowse was the original guy in the Darth Vader suit, at least for episodes 4 and 5.
Yeah, I always think of Earl Jones as Darth Vader, but I always forget they had an actor.
Yeah, and I can't remember the actor in the third movie. Sebastian Shaw was the guy in the suit when Luke takes the helmet off.
Oh, that's right.
Take this mask off.
Yeah, football helmet.
But he was not the actor that was portraying him throughout the while Vader's moving around. Sorry, I have the sniffles. I apologize. That's not.
Yeah, we're
great. Anyway,
well, okay. Let's jump into episode 3 or 2.
Yeah. So, all right. The
How did
only
you
questions.
like the new rendition of Aqua Vader and his bionic limbs?
Well, okay. So, I'm already going to disagree with something.
Okay.
We should never call him Aqua Vader again.
I mean, he could breathe underwater. It was a clear throwback to Starship Troopers when they're doing the, well, I guess it was supposed to be a Bacta tank, right?
Yeah, it's a back.
Okay. So Aqua Vader.
Okay, fine. We'll go. Vader when he is submerged in a Bacta tank. What did I think of that? It's gonna be difficult for me. So there are things that I objectively. No, it's not objective at all. There are things that I dislike about the first three episodes of Kenobi, and they are rare and few and far between.
I did not see this coming. Okay. All right, let's do this.
They're small. And I will keep my conversation. I will keep this conversation limited to the first 3 episodes, because I saw episode 4 last week. I will watch episode 5 tomorrow when it airs. I would see it earlier if I could, but I have to sleep.
Okay.
What did I think of Vader's appearance in episode 2 of Kenobi? Naturally, I thought it was great. I'll fanboy out to that pretty hard. I'm glad that Hayden Christensen is reprising the role. He always said that he enjoyed getting to be the bad guy. He thought it was fun. Getting to be like
explain the actor. Anakin. Who's Hayden Christensen again? Is he
Hayden
Anakin?
Christensen is the actor who portrayed Anakin Skywalker in episodes 2 and 3, Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith.
Oh wow, I didn't know it was him playing.
Yeah, and now he has reprised his role as Anakin Skywalker, Darth Vader.
That is awesome. Okay.
So that is Hayden Christensen in makeup.
So Stumpy. Got it.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm trying real hard. Taking it. So just to put this in context, he is. I mean, it's obvious, it's pretty cliche, but he is my favorite character. I have his tattoos on my body in the same place that he had. Not Hayden Christensen. I have no idea what he's tattooed with, but the theme in my action figure case is Anakin Skywalker per each of the 9 sections is always front and center, and Anakin Skywalker moves down. So not only left to right does he evolve, vertical to bottom. Top to bottom he evolves. Anyway, so that's where I'm at when it comes to. So when you call him Stumpy, part of my soul vomits.
He was on fire with stumps.
I'm not disagreeing with that.
Okay. All right.
What I thought of it was, I think it's awesome. I think it's just awesome. I think what I like most about it is, and there's a lot of really good art with this as well, and they showed it in just briefly in Rogue One.
Did you say art or arc?
Sorry. So there's a lot of good art available on the internet, and I don't remember the artist. I have it saved on my phone, of course. But they also showed it briefly in Rogue One, which is the inspiration for a lot of it, and of course it's in the comics. But to me, it shows the duality of what he is, not Anakin Skywalker, Darth Vader, because he's, for this part, he's supposed to be Vader in his prime, so he's not really Anakin anymore.
Okay.
He is a legless, near lifeless wreck of a human being who cannot survive outside of being hooked up to multiple things, a walking cybernetic suit, and inside a Bacta tank so his body does not decay. And yet, he's trapped in this existence, and he's still full of just hatred and rage and misery, which the first thing that he does when he opens his eyes, and I even talked about this with the guy at Jiu-Jitsu, is like, we both rewound it to see what color his eyes were. Anakin's eyes are blue, but when a Sith is angry, his eyes turn yellow, or her eyes turn yellow. And his eyes are yellow. So he's just this legless, lifeless, impotent thing, just consumed by hatred and anger. But then once he has the suit added to him, which you don't see in episode 2, he becomes the imposing, the menacing, the monster of Darth Vader. And I just enjoy that duality. So, but you didn't even get that from the way they reveal it in episode 2 is, and spoilers alert, but so what, Obi-Wan learns that Anakin is alive, that he did not perish on Mustafar 10 years ago.
Right. And
then it immediately cuts to Vader. And it, with the music and with the fear and shock that Ewan McGregor portrays with Obi-Wan.
Fantastic.
Agreed.
Great acting.
He's a phenomenal actor. It becomes this... He doesn't seem impotent. He seems like this demon that's about to be born to come after him, which for all intents and purposes he is. So that is a very long-winded answer to your short question.
So here is my first critique. So the Force is based upon how many midichlorians you have running through your system, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So if you're stumpy...
Yes.
You have fewer midichlorians.
You do, and that is canon and said by George Lucas.
So he is less imposing and powerful than he was as Anakin. Pre-stumpy.
Yes and no.
Okay, explain please.
So Anakin's force potential, and so George Lucas quantifies it.
By the fact that you know that is ridiculous. Just
I'm not the only one by far.
Okay.
So George Lucas quantifies it by like this. So the most powerful dark side user in Revenge of the Sith, and you could argue like ever, but that's arguable, is Darth Sidious, Sheev Palpatine. Okay. Anakin Skywalker, the reason why he's selected as an apprentice, where he's so enticing as an apprentice, is because he has twice the midichlorian count, therefore twice the force potential of Sidious.
Got it.
And they even state in episode 1, like, oh, he's higher than Master. His midichlorian count is higher than Master Yoda, and you can even see, like, in the little thing they show of the, like, never mind. After he fights and loses to Obi-Wan with the severing of his arm, his leg, and his leg, arm with Dooku, and then the remaining limbs with Kenobi, he has about 80% of the potential of Sidious. Still a lot, but not near the percentage that he did. And I can't remember whether it is the novelization of, I think it's the novelization of Revenge of the Sith. I want to say James Luceno, where, and I read it and I thought it was just a really good way to put it. He wakes up and he tries to touch the Force as he once did, and he finds it's no longer easy or there in the same capacity.
Interesting.
And he says, "You're a painter who's gone blind, a musician who's gone deaf. You know where it's supposed to be, but you can't touch it." And a lot of Anakin's struggle, at least as it's portrayed. So yes, he no longer has the potential to be as strong as he once was. However, his knowledge, his depth of understanding of the Force, of the dark side, his ability to manipulate it is continually greater under Sidious's tutelage and under his own just self-hatred and wreck of a life as Darth Vader. So that's why Anakin Skywalker is able to kind of be a little bit choke. His wife also probably didn't want to show spousal abuse on television or movies. It is a kid's movie. A little bit and manipulate the Force in a few ways as Anakin, but it was always, like, oh, he's going to be great.
Got it.
He can use it much more easily than most, but he doesn't demonstrate like a lot of it. And then where you have Darth Vader, like everywhere he walks, He's like, I can do this, I can do this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this.
I thought one of the greatest scenes is when he was walking to Obi-Wan, basically injuring all the people to get him to come out, where he just, cracked that boy's neck, drug the guy behind him. I was like, this is the Darth Vader I've been waiting for.
Exactly. And I think Deborah Chow she's the director of the series. She also directed Mandalorian. Say again?
Fantastic job.
Agreed. And I think one of her things was she wants to show the menace of Darth Vader. It's always there. Like Rogue One. Like when you see Rogue One, I saw it in the theater. Like I remember distinctly being in the theater, and we saw Darth Vader kind of in the middle, and he's menacing. He makes a stupid joke towards, oh my God, I'm forgetting the character's name. The Imperial prefect who worked with Galen Erso to build the Death Star. Krennic. Careful not to choke on your ambition. You see him, you're like, oh yeah, that's super cool. And then at the end, when his contingent lands on the Tantive 4, what was Admiral Radiss's ship? I can't remember. And then just the hallway scene with Vader.
It's phenomenal.
It's phenomenal. Yeah. Like he's pulling out all the tricks. You fucking slaughtering people left and right. Like, dude, that is it. And I think Deborah Chow wanted to create that again, and show he might be redeemed in Return of the Jedi. Mm-hmm. He might be kind of evilish he kills a planet in New Hope, but he is a monster. He murders a father and then his son in front of him, and just picks some random lady on the side, drags her along, and then snaps her neck, just so he can entice one of his an enemy to make a mistake.
It was. We got to figure, right? He crossed that line during the pillage of the Jedi Temple. Once he
5 minutes after he becomes a Sith, when he goes and kills children, sure.
Yeah, you got to figure. He had to go full headstrong into that way. And after that, everything would be simple.
Yeah.
So,
yeah,
I am happy that first off, I didn't know Jedis did wushu or Tai Chi. That was kind of ridiculous that they're doing Tai Chi.
Which part?
In the beginning, very first scene, they're sitting there doing Tai Chi, going side to side. I was like, what
the Order 66.
Yeah. And then after that, though, the just raising of the Jedi Temple.
Excellent.
That was what I expected. Just
so that's
chaos.
The second time in the... Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Sorry.
Just the absolute chaos where we're getting attacked from all the... It was kind of similar visually to in episode 2, the arena scene where all the Jedi show up on the bug planet with all the flies, and all of a sudden they're in the crowds and they're just attacking
Geonosis.
Everywhere.
Yeah.
Geonosis?
Geonosis is the Geonosian arena.
Okay. It was similar to that, which I didn't like because of so much chaos. But if you're getting raided and all the Jedis are there, I get it.
Yeah, it becomes this medieval pitch battle Viking thing with glowy swords and nice people.
Yeah. So I thought that was a fantastic scene. I was very happy with the chaos and the...
I didn't think about the chaos. I think, no, that is pretty good. Did you see, you kept up with Mandalorian and Boba Fett, right?
Yep.
So when Grogu remembers what Order 66 was for him, and it's the same thing. It's just this chaotic, you see stormtroopers come in and just start blasting apart people.
I don't remember that scene. I know that he was connected somehow and that he somehow was spared by Anakin, but I don't remember that actual scene where he remembers Order 66.
It's pretty brief, but it's okay. Literally from his point of view. So it's kind of cool in that way. Like people are firing at him from his vantage. But yeah, I agree with you. What I liked about that scene, among others, and I'm not sure about this, but the directors and the cinematography is really careful to draw parallels between other scenes, other cinematography throughout the series. A pretty easy one is the comlink that appears in episode 4 is the same comlink shot that appears in literally episode 4 of the saga series. It's C-3PO's comlink that's resting on a table. Anyway,
Got it.
so that same thing, episode 3, Order 66, and this one, episode 1, Kenobi, Order 66. I don't know her name, the Jedi in charge of the younglings is, bravely warding off fire. She's slaughtering a few stormtroopers, and then it opens up into that long walkway across the main, we'll call it rotunda.
Yeah.
That is the same long walkway upon which I think Kenobi and Yoda walk along and find, killed not by a blaster, this youngling.
Oh, interesting.
By a lightsaber.
Okay.
And I kind of thought, because there are like 4 or 5 younglings there, they were going to maybe not show, but put them in the same position as like, and now Darth Vader's going to come in and kill some more kids. They were going to show that, but
right.
I don't know. That's just what I thought. But yeah, I agree. It's cool to see. It's just cool to see what they do with it. It's cool for them to take other glimpses of the world and show you what that looks like with, not big characters, just people. It's neat to see them make a universe that gets lived in by someone other than the heroes.
I would agree. Now, what I didn't see coming was these Inquisitors. So how are they? Are they new part of the lore, or are they already canon?
So they're canon now. They're new canon.
Okay.
I love that when Disney came in and they said, okay, so this stuff is no longer canon. This stuff is canon. There was this wave of
you can do that?
Of revulsion. Of course, yeah. This wave of revulsion from like nerd culture. But let's take a step back. None of this exists. Not for real. No wizard knight with a laser sword was really disenfranchised here. They're okay. You can still like that Feltapern Trevag is a character in the Cantina in episode 4, even though he's not really that name anymore. It's okay. It's okay. We all like Tales from Mos Eisley Cantina. Chill. Anyway. So yes, the Inquisitors are dark side Force users.
So they're not Sith, though.
They're not Sith. They're Jedi hunters. They're trained by Vader. Sith is a specific religion, cult, set of beliefs of a dark side user. So there's lots of different, in the expanded universe, non-canon, canon, who cares? There are multiple ways to believe in, use, think about philosophies. That's the word I'm looking for, of the Force. There's the Jedi. There's the Sith. There's gray Jedi that exhibit, but that don't see a difference or draw a distinct line between light and dark sides. It's how you use it, not it's for what you use it. It's not how you use or what it is. So Force lightning. I mean, choking something is probably a rather aggressive, somewhat evil thing, but just using Force lightning is not inherently evil.
Got it. Okay. So the Inquisitors are Force users. However, Rev. I've never seen anybody do parkour or those type of flips other than Yoda. That's a bit of extreme force use.
I did appreciate I did appreciate Reva's parkour. I did like that. What I thought
it was awesome, but I was like, wow, she's really in tune with the Force if she's flipping around like Yoda.
Yeah, fair. Well, there's a few things in there. So at least what I like about Moses Ingram's portrayal of Reva, and I don't know if this is intentional. I've only seen one interview with her, and she wasn't talking about this part. She was talking about like going to Jedi school and getting selected to be in this part. Reva seems like a predator. And by using that parkour, like one of the first things she does is, and I guess it's a parkour trick where you land on not on your feet, but on your hands and pull your body forward. She's literally moving like a predator over the rooftops.
Yeah.
I just think it's cool. Like she's obviously she's an evil person. She kills indiscriminately, or at least threatens to.
So that was my next bone of contention with this character. I was looking her under the lens of a Sith, right? Uh-huh. And from my understanding, Sith, you're allowed to kill up the chain, right? You're constantly trying to...
You're supposed to.
Yeah, you're supposed to, right? So she's not going to get in trouble for killing first brother, I
The
guess you
Grand
would call him.
Inquisitor.
Yeah, Grand Inquisitor. Thank you. So next she has to go for she's fourth sister or is she
She's
third
third
sister?
sister. There's also
Second
I think
brother then.
it's either fifth brother, third sister, and I want to say I saw on, I can't get it out of my head because I saw on Instagram they called her Inquisitor Karen, and that's all I can think about now. I can't
That's
remember
hard.
if she's second sister or fifth sister, but now that I see it, I'm like, oh, there's Inquisitor
Okay,
Karen.
so we haven't seen fifth brother.
Anyway,
We've seen Crazy Karen, fourth Karen. She's third, and then the dude who looks like Wong from
he's fifth brother.
He's fifth. I thought he was second. I thought he got the promotion.
No, he's the fifth brother.
So who's second? So
This
here's my
is
thing.
where I have not seen all of Rebels, and this is where and the Inquisitors figure into the animated series Rebels.
Okay,
Yeah,
I'm gonna have to.
So that's where they come
watch
from.
Rebels.
They're a huge fan favorite. That's why Darth Maul is alive in a lot of stuff because fan service. They brought him back in. He was in he was in Clone Wars. He was in Rebels.
Right.
Yeah. So anyway, so yeah, they figured
here's
into
my
Rebels
issue.
and they came in. They were brought in. Yes.
And I told you this to you offline. She reminds me of like Aisha from HR, who has a bone to pick and has the authority to bully everybody and is not going to get fired. So what is Rev's issue other than her being maybe a badass? Like she acts like Ben Kenobi's wronged her. And maybe this comes in episode 4, but first off, I don't buy her evil. I do buy her ambition. I don't buy her being a badass. Now, the fact that she killed Grand Inquisitor so cold-bloodedly, well, she backed it up. But I don't get the great animosity stemming from her ambition. So does Kenobi owe her from something? What's the backstory there?
Yeah, I can see that. And you know what? That's really well characterized. I agree with you. She doesn't seem, I should say the actress's portrayal of her doesn't make her seem not malicious. Just that pure. So like Fifth Brother, for example, say again?
The vitriol,
Yeah, but you can kind of see that too, but it's couched in like resentment or some feeling of loss, not necessarily anger for anger's sake. Like Fifth Brother just seems fucking pissed off at everything all the time.
Yes.
Darth Vader
she never listens. She always gets away with everything. I'd be pissed off too if I worked with her and she's always pulling this shit in HR. Yeah, that's totally a bad work partner. I get it, but I can't tell if it's this need to climb the ladder, if it's.
I think yeah. So I agree with you. Like, there's that ambition. I don't think she's wholly committed to. I don't know. Really, I don't know how to. I can't phrase it well, but like we'll say wholly committed to evil. There's definitely something there. I think maybe one of the reasons they started with Order 66 is not only was it cool, but Reva somehow was in there because she's the right age to have been a youngling during Order 66.
Ooh.
She's in her 20s.
Okay. Okay, that makes sense. There's like definite ex-boyfriend, baby daddy vibes coming from Kenobi. Like her just, I'm going to find you. I know you from the past. Like there's
that, but there's also that he's a great way to climb the ladder because she knew immediately who to tell.
That's a great point.
And she knew how to twist the knife because she knew that Anakin Skywalker. That's the kind of the weird thing. So in the books, granted this isn't canon anymore, the fact that Anakin Skywalker is Darth Vader was a tightly kept secret. It wasn't like, well, I mean, and in the book, I haven't read like deeply into that. You know what? In the comics, it is too, because one person figures out that Vader is Anakin. He's a detective. Granted, Vader kills him shortly afterward, but the guy even expresses like, I think you're the future of the Empire. I know what happens after, I know why we're meeting here alone. I know what happens when I tell you this.
Interesting. I did not know
I wish you the best, Anakin. I think you're the best. I think you're the future of the Empire. And then he stabs him, obviously. But with this one, maybe it's still a secret. Maybe Reva is just like quite the sleuth herself and figures it out. Who knows? But
All right. Well, anything else about the episode? We're at an hour and a half. I think
Yeah,
people
there
might be
is so
falling
much.
asleep. Maybe we'll get back into it episode 4 and 5.
You know what? This was 1 through 3. Let's do 4 through 6. Although we only touched on like 3 things, but you're totally right. This isn't. This is 45 minutes straight, and I think you've said like 4 words. So I'm gonna.
No, I love it. I think we did well. All right. Before we go, favorite scene from any of the 3 episodes?
That's tough. I can give you my top 3, and it's not even a surprising top
Okay,
3.
go for it.
The torture of Obi-Wan.
That was amazing. That was mine.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, that was. So the torture of Obi-Wan, Vader's stroll through the street,
Torture of the people.
and probably Kenobi's sort of the difficulty he has when he's on the ship with Leia after they've escaped to the planet. After Rev, it's in episode 3. After Rev has told him, like, Anakin's alive, and he's just sitting there trying to accept who he is now and what happened to him. That's just the way McGregor is able to. I always think of Conor McGregor when I say it. The way McGregor is able to portray and give that pathos and that feeling of disappointment and guilt and sadness and shock all at once. I think it was just really good. It really. I don't know. He really brings a lot of life to the character, and Alec Guinness did too. They're both just tremendous actors. Yours?
Definitely the torture of Obi-Wan. I thought that was,
yeah.
When I saw that, I was like, yeah, that's about right.
Yeah, like there's some history
Then
there.
I would say the Order 66 scene.
Oh, good call.
And then it was almost my third was the collage of Obi-Wan stealing the meat after each shift. And I kept on thinking, what a betrayal of being a Jedi. To break your own moral code. Every day you need to steal to feed your horse, right? Because that's what he was doing with it.
That's a good point.
So that you can survive to get back there.
That's a really good point.
Think like every day it was done with shame, done with the head down, fold it, tuck it away. That struck me back to, my childhood where you got to eat at McDonald's because you're working at McDonald's. You got to take the leftovers from the restaurant. Like that's just hard times where you put your head down and you're like, okay, we're eating McDonald's for dinner, or we're basically eating leftovers that I got from work. Like that's a hard go, man. For a Jedi, top of the class, stealing your way.
Interesting. That's a really good point.
Only other scene I've seen like that was in the movie The Cinderella Man, where he's a boxing legend.
Yeah, Russell Crowe,
where they took him out to a fancy T-bone steak dinner, and they wrapped up half the steak for the kids in the napkin to take home from the fancy dinner. Like that just hit. That was like, damn, dude, he's on hard times.
That's a really good point. I did not pick up on that. I got the, wow, he's fallen so far from who he was. I mean, he's a member of the Jedi Council. Didn't pick up on like he has to steal food to feed his beast of burden, his horse camel.
No.
Yeah, that's a really good point.
No.
Yeah, that's an
so that was it for me.
Yep, that's it for me.
Everybody, thank you for hanging with us. We appreciate it
very much.
I'm a moron. Give me some time to figure out the audio. Give me some time to figure out socials. This is all new to me. Thank you for joining us. We appreciate your time. Fighter Wizard, you got any parting words?
Nope. You pretty much said it all. You're better at presenting this than I am. You just have to give me a Star Wars topic, and then I can expound. But other than that,
we'll knock it out of the park. The goal is we're going to start with nerddom. We're going to expand to more rants, maybe some advice. Clearly, I have opinions, and I like to share them. We'll do that as long as we can until we get canceled. Maybe get into politics. We'll get into debates of current topics and video games, comics. Deepwater. Yeah. Well, yeah. I got opinions.
Well, what better place to have them?
If you're willing to listen, I'm willing to talk. And I think that should be our outro. All right, I'm going to get
that's
some
good.
good 8-bit music for you guys. We're going to tinker with stuff. Please give me your opinion. Please like and subscribe. This is going out June 14th. Give us a couple weeks. Probably be dated. We're going to try to, when we launch, throw out a couple episodes so you can see whether or not you like us. Appreciate your time. Have a good one. Sign out. Bye. That's it. That's our show. Join us next time for episode 2. Well, quite honestly, I have no idea what we'll be talking about. Please do us a favor. Like, subscribe, comment, share this podcast. And once I get around to it, check us out on our socials. Combative Nerds on Patreon, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. You know the deal. Thanks for hanging out with us. We will see you